went to South Florida for Everglades restoration, which admittedly is really, really important. But I do think we need to have a very honest conversation in the state of Florida about the expenditure of hundreds of millions of dollars to this. Right now, we're in a couple of billion-dollar phases in terms of SERP and Everglades restoration. We have to balance that with the practical reality of sea level rise and the fact that the Everglades are going to be facing saltwater intrusion. So, you know, is this a prudent allocation of our taxpayer revenue? And I know I'm not going to be popular for putting that out there, but I think we just need to get smart about it, because this sort of funding is coming up head-to-head with the appropriation for other funding measures to help natural resources in the state of Florida. For example, the St. Johns River protection, our springs protection, beach nourishment projects, whether or not you consider that beneficial for the environment is questionable. But these measures don't get the sort of funding that, quite frankly, they really do need, because those funds are being allocated towards Everglades restoration.
Skyline's being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. It's time to stop. Hey, what's up town? Nobody look what's going down.
My name is John Pilecki. I'm with the St. John's Democratic Party and the Environmental Caucus of St. Johns County.
Which basically, legislators at the time approved a measure to allow utilities to pump treated sewage water into the aquifer from which the water came before it was polluted. And the idea is to supplement declining aquifer levels so they can keep pumping water out of it. So luckily, Rick Scott just recently vetoed this bill. He claims that he does not want to damage the trust that Floridians have in our water quality, and he's not convinced that this legislation would not damage the protection of our aquifers.
Tank, you can get over 650 miles.
Wow, and about how many gallons in that
I
tank?
put, I think it was a 12-gallon tank, so I put about 20. I put about 23.
12.5?
Yeah, I put about $23 in there.
$23.
I filled it up,
Prices
so,
now.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Great value.
You make it all the way to Miami and almost back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I was in charge of St. Augustine beach restaurants, so I went around asking just about their local plastics, like if they had a recycle bin, what they did with their recyclables. Sunset Grill, everybody kind of knows where Sunset Grill is if you're around here. Come on, they have great food. I mean, come on. But they do have a plastic bin, but it only comes like 2-3 times a week. They recycle cardboards and plastics. The Oasis, everybody knows what the Oasis is. No recycle bin. Everything's just thrown in the dumpster. Blown away, wind can blow it wherever. We have Obie's filling station. They also don't have a recycling bin, which is really surprising, actually. But they have really good burgers. Salt Life Food Shack, they do have a recycle bin. Now, when I did talk to one of the managers about it, he was actually really sincere about, like, they do try a lot. The company actually pays to have their plastics and recyclables taken from there.
We are a nonprofit NGO, and our mission is to protect the health of the Matanzas River and its watershed through advocacy and education and community engagement. So as I'm sure all of you guys know, the Matanzas River is a tidal estuary. It supports over 2,000 species of plants and animals, according to a study done by the University of Florida Whitney Lab, and it is directly attached to the ocean at the St. Augustine Inlet and the Matanzas Inlet.
These negative environmental and economic impacts, they outweigh all of the benefits basically that we've been told will come from offshore drilling. It's been said that we can become energy independent or lower the price of gas, but the reality is that even if we open up all of our coasts in America to offshore drilling, by 2060 we'll only lower the price of gas by 3 cents a gallon.
Die annually from environmental factors under the age of 5. 1 in 6 people are exposed to fatal air pollution every day. Although the US makes up 5% of the population, we use 25% of the world's resources, including coal, oil, and natural gas. So those are just a few things that are really kind of surprising. Maybe some of you knew, maybe some of you didn't.
That really made a big difference, because why knock down old growth trees for toilet paper? Come on. So, but it was quite it was an accomplishment. And here's the other good news about it. Once Kimberly-Clark agreed to commit to sourcing their paper products from better sources, Procter & Gamble followed suit. So, because once you've demonstrated to the world that one corporation can make this change, how can Procter & Gamble say they can't do it? So.
The world is in a difficult position. We're in a difficult political position, we're in a difficult biological position, we're in a difficult climate position. And there's good news and there's bad news. And the good news is that what people think and what they say and what they do makes a difference. What you think determines how you act. And sea level rise is baked into the system. We're not going to get it back. It's not going to go, the rate is not going to decrease. And the houses in Lincolnville and the houses in Davis Shores, those houses are going underwater. And that's the long and the short of it. And it's just a matter of time. It's baked into the system. The one card that we have left to play is when. That's the one thing that we don't know yet. How quickly is this going to happen? And the only metric that matters in all of that discussion is how many more greenhouse gases are we going to put in the atmosphere.
What Bill helped me to see is that we do have a voice and we are the future that will have to deal with climate change, because obviously the effects are already here, but what we can do is help to limit how much climate change increases over time. And we see it as our responsibility as the younger generation to not see climate change as something that's unfixable, unmanageable, that we can do nothing about, because there is something we can do. It might not completely erase the effects of climate change, but we can do something so that climate change is lessened and we can help our Earth be healthier and thrive more. So,
and quite frankly, it's also going to be very market driven. The entities that are paying attention to sea level rise are the insurance companies that are no longer going to be providing mortgage insurance for high-rise condos going down in Miami. So that is the practical reality, that the market-driven forces are going to change the shape of the conversation, whether you believe it in or not.
And I just wanted to add, just to give a little bit more hope to this panel, there's a group of children, some of who are as young as 10 years old, that this upcoming Monday are going to be suing the state of Florida for breach of the public trust doctrine. It's a massive lawsuit. I'm very honored to be one of the plaintiffs. And it's all because the state of Florida has essentially breached the public's trust when it comes to the issue of climate change and sea level rise. So, hoorah, keep going, guys.